What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Tonight we are in the shop and we're going to continue working on the bleepinjeepbeastwars budget build full-size Jeep Cherokee Chief. That's a lot of words. So if you are new to the channel, this Jeep will be going to compete in bleepinjeepbeastwars the later part of this year. It is a $5,000 budget build, and we're going to be going head to head with other competitors that are building similar Jeeps. I don't believe there's any full-size Jeeps. So tonight what I'm going to start working on is the front end. In the last video, the last thing y'all saw me do was I basically tore everything apart and kind of went over my build plan, and then I ended up putting the tires and wheels that I'm going to be running. These are 38-inch tall Super Swampers, TSLs, and I'm going to be dove nosing the front here. If you're not familiar with a dove nose, it's when you take the front grille and you basically just pinch it in just like that so that it gives it a more aggressive look. And that way, whenever I am off-road, I have a way better approach angle, because instead of coming up on a rock or a tree or some roots or something and this hitting, my tire will hit. So it's kind of like what buggies and stuff do. And I'm going to be competing with a bunch of XJs, and so I've got to get this thing as narrow as possible. And I believe I'm going to accomplish that by dovetailing the front, or dove nose in the front, whatever you want to call it. So I have been bouncing some ideas from my buddy Rusty. I'll put his link in down below. He has actually dove nosed one of these Jeeps. So what I plan to do is I plan on cutting right here and cutting right here and basically sliding this whole piece over, so that this hole right here will be in the same location as this, and the same way on that side. So that way, when this fender meets this grill, it'll match up and almost look like it's supposed to. And I realize that this is not going to be pretty, and I am 100% okay with that, but I just want to make sure that it still has character. So like these body lines right here, I don't want to just make it squared off, and I don't want to square this off. Like I want these body lines to still exist. So now me and Easton, you ready to help? Yeah, so now me and Easton are going to start cutting away at this right here. Now, do that trace on Mario. Good job. I have everything pretty much cut off and where I want it. So now I'm just going to tack weld it up. There's really no science to this. I'm literally just cutting it up and welding metal back together. So take all this with a grain of salt. I have the grill kind of just mocked up for right now, and I did just zip tie the fender to the grill just to kind of give me an idea of what the Jeep will actually look like whenever it's all said and done. Dude, what are you doing? I'm really excited of how the dove nose is turning out. There are some things I'm going to have to work out. So it looks like this is bent. I'm going to have to bend that back in. That way I can pull the fender a little closer in. I also have to come in here and notch this. I think I'm going to cut about right here. Just cut like a V right there, so that way the fender will fold. Quit. So to be honest with you, it was kind of a little too rusty to be welding, and I was blowing through a couple of spots, so I had to be very strategic to where I was putting my tack welds. And so then I just got kind of fed up and then put some marine grade silicone right there, and so now it's all good. I did that on this side too. So like I said, this is budget build. This isn't like show quality stuff. So what I'm working on now, because I'm trying to get this whole idea in my head of what this is gonna look like. So I ordered 2 of these lights right here. They're like 40 bucks on Amazon. They're the same lights that I put on my little scrambler build, but that's what I'm gonna be putting in the front right here. So that's kind of what I've been toying with this afternoon, is how I'm going to be mounting these. So I'm thinking I'm just going to put something there along the lines of that, and then just tack weld this in, or just weld this in. But yeah, I think that's gonna look really sick, and it's gonna kind of bring the front end together with those lights in, because it's kind of hard to tell where I want things without the lights in, because without the lights in there, it's just weird looking to me. So I definitely want to put some lights in there first before I start making any crazy decisions on this dove nose. What I did was I cleaned the metal right there, and I cleaned some right there. This is actually pretty good metal. It's kind of rusted on the backside, but that's not important. But I think this would be strong enough to support this right, I think it's right there, somewhere right there. So now what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and tack weld this on, and then test fit the light and make sure that this is the look that we're going for. All my welds painted up, and it's pretty daggone sturdy. I'm just gonna slide this in here. So that's pretty solid. I mean, you shake the light and the whole grill support moves. So that's awesome. So now I'm gonna pop this passenger side in. So I have the headlights in, and overall, I think it's the look that I'm looking for. I just want this front end to be a lot more narrow, but still have the cool characteristics of a full-size Jeep and a buggy. So as you can see, I went ahead and cut the fender flares off, and I feel like that makes it look 1,000 times better. I want to go to this fender, and I want to cut a little V right there just to relieve some pressure on this fender, and that way it'll want to bend just a little bit. So I'm probably gonna be doing the cut probably right here where it meets the cowl. I'm probably just gonna do something about like that. This isn't precise what I'm doing, so if you're looking for precise, this isn't gonna be something that you're gonna be doing either way. So I may have cut too much of a V.
Idiot.
But as soon as I cut it, it actually went all back into place. So I definitely relieved some pressure here. And so now I'm gonna go ahead and get the driver's side. So I went ahead and tried to match the same gap. That way it looks just as dumb on this side as it does the opposite side. And I think it turned out pretty good. So you can see right here, like that is nuts. you shouldn't be able to see the motorcycle. Like that should be, the fender should be like right along here somewhere. So this thing is definitely dove-nosed. I mean, look at that. Here, I'll show you from up front. This thing looks crazy in the front. Like you really can't even hardly tell what it is at this point. So I'm really digging the look, and I'm also pretty concerned that I may have gone a wee bit too far on the trail rig side of things. But honestly, like I said, this is just a budget build, but I think I have something that is going to really tie all this together.
I have. It really tied the room together.
So last night, my buddy Stephen Key came over and we were kind of just bouncing ideas back and forth off each other. We were trying to figure out what I wanted to use for a grill, because I have the Razor grill somewhere, the Razor grill right there off the J10. And then I have the other Razor grill that actually came off this Jeep. And I really don't want to cut up a Razor grill. Razor grills, they're pretty, I would say borderline rare, and they're expensive, and I don't know if I want to cut one up just to make this look good. So I was kind of just looking around the shop for ideas, and I found a TJ grill that I had on my wall. I was like, I wonder if I could make like, I wonder if I could simulate a Rhino grill with a TJ grill. So if you look at a TJ grill, it kind of jolts out. So right there where my blurry finger is, it jolts out just a little bit the same way a J10 grill. Let me see if I can turn this sideways. Yeah, so you see right there where it protrudes out. So me and Key just kind of laughed like, there ain't no way. So we took a measurement from right here to right here, and a TJ grill is exactly the same exact measurements on the inside that we would need. So I took the TJ grill that was right there, and I did some cutting. And this is what I did. And you might think that I'm crazy. So I went with the burgundy grill because my interior on this Jeep is burgundy, and I was like, well, that would be kind of cool. So I did some measuring, I did some cutting, and check this out. So I looked at some of the Rhino grills online, and I did see where they were, they kind of protrude forward a little bit, and then they actually have a bend in them. And so they're not like, flat like a TJ grill. So I cut a little indention right there and kind of curved it out just a little bit, so you can see like right there, yeah, where it's not straight. So, but check this out. Huh?
Really tied the room together, did it not?
So it may look like absolute crap right now, but I really think when I get the hood and everything on, that it's really just gonna kind of come together. I'm just gonna pop some self-tappers in. I went ahead and pre-drilled these, and I went ahead and tapped the holes. That way I know that it's gonna be on there straight, and it doesn't try to walk or anything weird like that. So I really hope this looks as good on camera as it does in person, because this looks nuts. So I did put a bolt right there, and I did put a little bit of tack weld in there just to hold it. And then I got some self-tappers up there, so it kind of fits the bill that way. Dude, that looks really cool. I'm not mad about that at all. So I also did something else off camera. So this is the hood that came off of this Jeep, and it's in okay condition. It does have some cancer spots right there, and I think the only spot I need to fix is right there. And I really don't want to cut up a good full-size Jeep hood, especially one with a hood bar. I mean, that is like sacrilegious right there. So what I did was I found one that came off of my 79 Cherokee that I call Beef Cheeks, and I put it on. And so I didn't want to bore y'all with me just cutting the hood, but basically what I did was I put the hood on, and then I just traced the fenders out and then measured in 8 inches. I think it was either 8 or 8.5 inches, and cut it in. So I didn't really put that on camera because I didn't think it was that interesting, but now I kind of wish I would have. But basically all I did was, like, the hood, it fell like right here. And then I just took a piece of flat bar and cut it out and traced out this fender, and then pulled a measurement of 8.5 all the way back. So the reason I didn't really record it was because I was practicing my cuts, because I didn't want to just start chopping away at a good hood. But now that I have this one, I may end up just leaving this one on, because this one's bad, like pushing through that. So it's already got some race holes already in it. So I may end up just using this one, but I'm just gonna throw this hood on and let y'all see what I'm talking about. So I'm looking at doing something along the lines of that. What I did was I did have to cut a relief point in there. I'll just have to fill this back in. But see, I don't know. I don't think I can use this hood because I can't weld to it. So honestly, I'm back and forth about using this hood because this one is just so far gone. And just thinking now, how am I gonna weld to this? I've got to do something because I can't have this. This has to be attached somehow, and I don't think I can weld to it because, as you can see, it is just rusting away. Man, that kind of stinks. But at least the Jeep looks good. It kind of looks like a Frankenstein build, but that's kind of what I'm going for. So the look that I'm really going for on this build is like a 2000s era like Teleco build. Basically what you would see on the trails in like the year 2001, 2002, something like that. So back in the day, you would see a lot of these Jeeps on the trails because they were like the $500 XJs back then. But now most of these are rusted in half, and the ones that aren't, they want like $50,000 for. I feel like this one's still like the $500, around the $500 mark. But just imagine it being 2000, the year 2000, and you're on the trails on Teleco and you see this come down with the Swampers and the Mickey Thompsons. That just screams like the year 2000.
Wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them.
I think I'm just gonna put a pin in the hood for right now. A pin in the hood. I think I'm just going to just jump on to something else, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and get this winch mount figured out. So I'm not really crazy about this winch mount because look how far that sticks out. So it's low, it's long, and we've got to fix it. So what I think I'm gonna do, so I think I'm just gonna cut this up. So this is super strong, and it's got good gussets and everything right there. It's got good welds. I've already checked all that. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this, and I'm gonna try to raise it and have the winch sitting somewhere like right here. I kind of like this Fairlead mount just because I feel like it fits the bill. Like this is homemade. This is a homemade winch mount, which is what they would have done like in the year 2000. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and get this cut off. I went to my scrap pile and I got some super thick square tubing and I cut that down. And so what my plan is I'm going to take this square tubing, put right here, weld all around, and then take this and sit on top of it and then weld it and then gusset it from the top also. So it's not going to be pulling from the bottom. It's going to be pulling from the center and the top. it not only is it going to strengthen it up, it's going to put less leverage on the bottom here. So I'm bringing it back to its point of strength, which is right here and right here. And I'm going to be picking it up, so it's going to be doing ground clearance all around, a better spot for the winch to go. So it is a new day in the shop. The last thing that y'all saw me do was last night I welded all this up. This is super strong. It's not the prettiest thing in the world. I'm going to come back and put some plates right here, and I may even do something right here just to kind of add some strength to it. So I put 2 and 3 passes of weld on all this, so it's definitely going to be super strong. And yes, I did weld the bolts, I don't care. And something else that I did off camera was I went ahead and cut this hood skin on the driver's side. And I feel like that really just brings this whole front end together. I am so excited of how this looks. Holy crap. Rust holes and all. Rust is lighter than carbon fiber.
Are you familiar with race cars?
What I plan on doing now is I have to strengthen this up somehow. And this side isn't going to be an issue because it looks like I have good metal. You can see right there, that's pretty thick and good material that I can weld to. But on this side, this side's going to be kind of a pain in the butt because you can see like right there, there's not anything to weld to. There's not anything to weld to right there. You know, this is kind of pitiful. Like right here, I could probably get some good welds, or good tack welds, I mean. But so I'm gonna have to get creative with this because I really do not want to cut up this hood. I'm gonna go ahead and start just putting tack welds on. I'm gonna turn my welder probably as low as it'll go and just try to get some tacks all along here, because I want it to be whenever I raise the hood, you know, it all comes together and don't wobble or anything weird. And I don't want it to like fall off, and I don't want to be beating this thing on the trail and the hood starts falling apart. I've got to get creative and figure out how I'm going to kind of tile this in. But so now I'm just going to start tack welding. So this was kind of a halfway fail, I would say. This is a lot more rusted than what I would want to be welding to. So I needed to come up with a solution. And because, like I said, I don't want to be throwing good parts at this. I don't have a lot of money that I can be throwing at this for like finding a new hood and stuff like that. So I have an idea. So I had a bunch of license plates laying around in my shop, and I was thinking I needed to, you know, tie this in together somehow. So I'm thinking that I'm just gonna take a bunch of license plates and just put all the way over this right here. So, and then I'll put another one right there. So this is budget build stuff. So I'm definitely not gonna be winning any car shows or any awards or anything for how this looks. So I'm thinking I'm gonna put a bunch of license plates over all the rust on this Jeep. So I plan on putting license plates in the floorboards. I plan on putting license plates right here. And I'm gonna call this Jeep Dead Plates because I'm gonna be covering everything on here with dead plates. So let's see how this turns out. Check this out. I don't know if y'all like that, but I really like that. I think that is super cool. Rat rod, rock crawler, budget build, whatever you want to call it. I dig it. And look what I found in my pile. I found my original 6 feet under license plate. So I think I'm gonna put this like somewhere. Maybe I'll put it on the back or something. I don't know, but yeah, so check that out. And I got some of the rust holes covered up in the back, and then some of the rusty, crusty front end right there. And what's really cool is that, so I have tack welds on this side, and I have a few tack welds on this side, and I was worried about it being not strong enough, but so I can take the hood and pick it up, and it all goes together. See? Genius. I honestly can't decide if this is like super smart or super dumb, but it doesn't matter because I like it. And check out these floors. I'm thinking about doing the floors the same way. Instead of fixing the rust, just put a bunch of dead license plates on. Check this out. So I got a bunch of them. Got a few more over there. So I feel like it's definitely gonna be interesting because I'm not gonna be running doors. So whenever you look in, you're just gonna see a bunch of dead plates, which is the new name of the Jeep. I just named it like an hour ago. So, yep, this is dead plates. So Harbor Freight had a sale on these 12,000 pound winches last weekend. And so I went ahead and jumped on that. Full-size Jeep like this, you definitely want a winch. I'm gonna be putting a Badlands winch on here. I'm probably not going to wire it up right now because I don't have a battery. I just want to see and make sure that it's the height and everything that I want. Sweet. Oh yeah. Oh, that's old school. So I went with the cable because for one thing, it was cheaper, and another thing, they didn't really have synthetic rope out in the year 2000, so can't have that. Hopefully the winch lines up with the holes that are already drilled inside of this mount here. I gotta drill these out a little bit. I've got the winch on, and I really think that winch really complements the front end, especially since I have the classic hook and the classic cable right there. That just screams 2000s era to me.
Y2K.
And it's a lot higher than what it was, and it's pretty close. It could be a couple of inches back, but if I hit something right here, I would have hit it right here. So the next thing that I'm going to work on is I've kind of been avoiding it is I've got to figure out how I'm going to be able to lift this hood up. So right now I don't have anything. It's just sitting on here. I don't have the hood attached to the body, and I can't use the factory hinges off of it because I dove nosed it. So you can see back there, that's where the hood springs were. So the hinges were actually the helpers because these hoods are super heavy. But now that I've took a little bit of weight off this one, it shouldn't be too bad. But I've got an idea in mind, and let me show you what I'm thinking about for that. So here's my solution. What's up, Pickle? So I went and raided my dad's barn and found these. These are just some latches, barn latches from Lowe's. So I do want this hood to pick up further than it does from the factory. Because as you know, that's like a huge pain in the butt that these hoods only like come up like 45 degrees. And that's really aggravating. I'd rather it go ahead and come on up. So now I'm gonna sit here and toy with the options here. This is what I plan on doing. And this isn't gonna be like, oh, that's how he did it. This is gonna be like, oh, that's how he did it. I'm gonna put it right along here. So the hood needs to come down anyway, like right there. And I've got it marked exactly, let's see, right about there. So now that I have all these drilled, I'm just gonna be using some grade 8 hardware, and the holes are kind of tapered, so I really don't need washers on the top. So now I'm just gonna go around and tighten all these up. I got both the hinges on, got everything tightened up. I did have to do a little bit of trimming in the back. And as you saw, I did some welding, and let me show you what I did. So what was weird was whenever I was taking this Jeep apart, I found this metal rod inside of the grill, and I never knew what it was for, but it works really good if you do this right here. So I did some welding, and I welded a nut right there. That way I could have a prop. Normal hood probably stopped right about here, but this one goes on up about 8 more inches, which is awesome. Man, that makes a world of a difference right there. So my plan to keep the hood down is I'm going to order some hood pins, just like some race car hood pins to run through right there. That way all I have to do is just take the 2 pins out, and then I'll be able to pick it up. I'm probably not gonna put them in this video. It'll probably be the next video. Well guys, that's probably gonna do it for this video. I appreciate y'all watching me dove nose the front of this full-size Cherokee here. If you have any questions or comments, or if you just want to talk crap in the comments about what I'm doing here, I'm interested to know y'all's opinion. I think this is really cool, but I realize that this isn't for everybody. I feel like this is one of those Jeeps, you're either going to hate it or you're gonna love it. I'm not gonna be too upset when I see people bashing how I'm chopping up a full-size Jeep. But then again, this thing was really rusty. I personally know the history of this Jeep. Like I said, it was bought brand new here in my hometown. And as far as I know, it's never left Lenoir County, which is where I live. And I know for a fact that this thing has been in mud bogs. It's been to Ocracoke. So I do know that this Jeep used to go back and forth to Ocracoke surf fishing back in the day, and which is probably why it rusted the way it did. But that's really cool that somebody and their family just hopped in it and drove all the way to Ocracoke Island in a full-size Cherokee and drove on the beach, fished, and then drove back home. So this Jeep has had a good life. It's not like it's just been sitting in a barn or sitting at somebody's lake house. This Jeep has been used. But anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all watching. If you want to check out any of my other builds, make sure that you go back to my channel, and I have plenty of other Jeeps that I've been working on here lately. And make sure that you like this video and subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss out on any other further content on this Bleepin' Jeep Beast Wars budget build. But anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see y'all in the next one.
Boo! Boo! Brian! Boo!